We're calling it a clash, but this might just be a beatdown. Hey guys, Tom here. Welcome back to the Underground and welcome back to the Classic Cocktail Clash. It's been a little while since we've had a matchup, but we're getting back into it and I'm excited about this one. If this were a basketball tournament and there was a #1 overall seed today, the #1 overall seed would have its first test. But first, haven't had any results in a while, so let's get to it. Matchup number 7 was in the Boozy Bracket. I think it was the Boozy Bracket, right? Yes, it was in the Boozy Bracket. And that was the Mint Julep versus the Manhattan. If you remember Mint Julep, some sugar, some rum, some mint, some lime, some club soda. Mix it all up, you got a very nice, refreshing drink. And that went up against an all-time classic, in my opinion, the Manhattan, which is a whiskey lover's delight. That's just some vermouth whiskey. There's all kind of variations. You can change up your whiskey. You can change up the amounts of vermouth. You can make it sweet. You can make it dry. You can add a little cherry juice. You can go all over the place with that. But it is a classic, classic drink. Match them up together. This actually, I thought was going to be a little closer than it was. A lot of votes, talked to a lot of people, and the overall winner of the Mint Julep versus the Manhattan in the Boozy Bracket for matchup number 7 was the Mint Julep. I'm not really surprised. I think Mint Julep appeals to more people. It's easier to drink for more people. Some people just don't like to drink a glass of whiskey, which that's fine. But Mint Julep moves forward. I forget how that bracket works out. I could look. So, oh yeah, that's going to work out good. Matchup number 8 was in the creamy bracket. Brandy Alexander versus the Clover Club. Excuse me. Brandy Alexander. I think Brandy Alexander makes me think of my mom. She always had them in her. She liked them. If you remember Brandy, cream to cocoa and cream. Very simple drink. Very easy to make. Delicious drink. It's more like dessert than it is. I wouldn't drink that before dinner. I think that's more of a dessert. But anyway, fantastic drink. And that went up against something a lot of people don't really know about, the Clover Club. The Clover Club was gin, citrus juice. What else was in it? Was it grenadine? I think there was grenadine in it. And a very controversial ingredient, an egg white. Shake it up. It makes a nice layered effect. And I actually enjoyed it. The Clover Club actually got my vote. It got a lot of people liked it, but the winner of that matchup was overwhelmingly the Brandy Alexander. People it's creamy and chocolate. You can't go wrong, and I can't say as I blame them. And then finally, matchup number 9 in the fruity bracket. This is 2 big ones from back in the day when I used to tend bar professionally in a restaurant. It was Tom Collins versus Whiskey Sour. Very similar drinks. Tom Collins, gin, lemon, some soda water. A perfect summer drink, in my opinion, against the Whiskey Sour, which again, controversial because I made mine the old-fashioned way. Whiskey, some citrus, I think there was some sugar in there, if I'm not mistaken, and again, the controversial egg white. Mixed them up. I enjoyed them both, but this was a bit of a landslide. And the winner of this matchup moving forward was the Tom Collins. So there you have it. The last 3 matchups we did, all moving forward. And we got to move on to today's matchup, which I have been looking forward to. If this was a basketball tournament and we had a #1 overall seed in the tournament, this drink would be the #1 overall seed. And that is the old-fashioned matching up against the SIDECAR. 2 great drinks. SIDECAR, not maybe a lot of people maybe don't know about, but the old-fashioned, I mean, it's just the cocktail in my opinion. And actually, it's the great thing about an old-fashioned. There's so many ways to make an old-fashioned, but today we're going to make it the old classic way. And then if it moves on, who's to say? I mean, that's for you guys to say, not me. We'll maybe mix it up in further rounds. So the old fashioned dates back to probably around little after 1800. And where it came from, I'm not really sure. But if you want, I think I do know. If you want a full-blown old-fashioned history lesson or old-fashioned homage, old-fashioned was the first cocktail I ever made on here, and it was actually, I made it back when I was doing happy hour on my other channel, but I moved it over here. It's first ever drink. I'll leave you a link. You can check it out after this, of course, and that's going to match up against the SIDECAR. SIDECAR is a cool drink. It dates back to about World War I. And it showed up in two books. Right after World War I, in 1922, Harry's ABC of Mixing Cocktails, and that was by Harry McAlone, and then another book, Cocktails and How to Mix Them, by Robert Vermeer. These books is where it first showed up, and old time cocktail books I think are really cool. So let's get to it because we got a lot to do. So first, let's go with an old fashioned. Like I said, old fashioned has to be the most quintessential of all cocktails in my opinion. And it's really simple to make. You're going to need about 3 dashes of bitters. That's about 3 right there. And then you need a teaspoon each of sugar. A lot of times what they do is they'll make a sugar cube in the bottom of your glass, soak it with the bitters, or actually, maybe we'll do it if it moves on. You get a sugar cube and you rub it on orange and it kind of soaks up the orange. That'll be cool. If I can find some sugar cubes, we'll see. So, but this classic recipe calls for a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of water. We don't have that, but we do have simple syrup, so I'm going to use about that much simple syrup. So is a teaspoon of water and a teaspoon of sugar? I would say 2 teaspoons of simple syrup, which is probably not that. That you can eyeball. Another great thing about this drink, you can mix it to your own sweetness tolerance. And then we need bourbon. Go ahead, bourbon. I do have bourbon. I'll just use this bourbon because that's what I have here. Again, you can use any kind of bourbon you like. I wouldn't use, personally, I would stay away from something overly smoky or oaky. I don't think that would be the proper choice. Then give her a good mix. And then for this drink, you need a glass. For this one, how about just 1 fat ice cube? I maybe could have put that in a smaller glass, but I like this glass. And then a simple garnish of just an orange twist. Now, if you want to go all pyrotechnic, you can. You could flame the oil. I'm not going to do that. And there you have, in my opinion, the classic of all drinks, the old fashioned. Moving on. I was going to say Sazerac, but that comes later. SIDECAR. I've made these. I've not made tons of these, but it's a cool drink. And it calls for some brandy. Any kind of, well, it actually calls for cognac, I am just going to use brandy, 1.5 ounces of brandy to be precise. And then you need some orange liqueur. You could use Cointreau, you could use triple sec for all I care. I'm going to use some Grand Marnier because that's what we use around here. 3/4 ounce of that. And then, very simply, about 3/4 of lemon juice. Just almost all of that. And then you want this really cold, so cue the music.
I shake it up, shake it up. I shake it up, shake it up. I shake it up, shake it up. Shake it up, shake it up. Shake it up.
Now, if you were so inclined, we were going to serve this in a coupe. You could sugar rim this glass if you wanted. I don't want to today. Oh, we'll see. Maybe if it moves on, maybe it'll deserve. Maybe it'll deserve a little sugaring. And that's number 2. I could have made it a little steeper to fill my glass, but the SIDECAR. Oh, we need a garnish for this as well. This also calls for an orange twist. Again, if you wanted to flame that, you could. Do I want to? No. I'm just going to try to hang it right there on the side of the glass. It doesn't. Well, it works a little bit. So there you have it, the SIDECAR. Okay, guys, it's ready drink time, but it's also a time for an explanation. I had a massive audio failure in this video, but since this was such a great challenge, I didn't want to just scrap it and do it over again. So let's just go right into the tasting. First off, this SIDECAR, cheers by the way, was a really good drink. I was surprised that something so simple could be such a great drink. It's got the brandy. I'm a fan of citrus, so I love this one. And I mean, the orange in it, but the combination between the sweet orange and the citrus just kind of marries so well together. It just made it a really nice drink, and I could see why it was popular back in the day. So this was the one. I mean, as you've heard me over and over and over expound on the virtues and just the classicness of an old-fashioned, it just can't be beat. And even now, even though I've already tasted it, it's just, you can just see, I was amazed at just how simple, with a few simple ingredients, a drink can just be so phenomenal. And it really is. And the great thing about an old-fashioned, besides the fact of its simplicity and its just classic flavors, is you can vary it in so many ways. And if it moves on in the competition, that's exactly what we'll do. We'll vary it. I've probably made, I think, at least a handful here that we've done. I know we did a couple Christmas old fashions. There's just so many that you can do. I usually, in the classic, my first ever video on cocktails was an old fashioned, and I made it completely different. I'll actually leave you a card so you can check that out. I actually muddled it, and I usually do muddle my old fashions, but in this one I just went with the classic, and it was phenomenal. So remember, go out, try them both. You'll be able to get these any place you go. And if you don't, just, jot down the recipe and walk the bartender through it. And then try them both, come back, let me know what you think, and we'll move on. I mean, I know where my vote's going. I think you probably know where my vote's going as well. But either one of these moving on, it's going to be stiff competition for whoever it matches up with in the next round. Guys, thanks for watching. I'm sorry again for the terrible audio in this video. I had a total, that lav mic on my apron there, for some reason, it just didn't record and I had nothing but static. I had to actually use the audio from my B-roll camera where you have the close-ups of the drinks. And I mean, it was better than nothing, but it wasn't great. I tried to fix it up as best I could, but hey, you got to roll with what you got to roll with. We're having fun. So if bad audio or not perfect audio is the worst part of having a couple cocktails with friends, and hey, that's what you got to do, right? So thanks for watching. Next time up, another great matchup. Be sure to catch all of the Clash. I'll leave you a link that you can do that. And until we meet together again, remember, I'll save a seat at the bar just for you.